Shubhrojit শুরু করছি লকডাউনে ক্লাসরুম. You all know, students, that we are going to discuss on English language today, and to be precise, on argumentative essay and emails for ICSE students. And we have Mrs. Trina Dasgupta from Gordon High School, and she is going to take your class today. Welcome, ma'am. And on the other side of the television set, the students, you can call us if you have any kind of doubts, questions and queries related to today's topic. Feel free to call. The phone number is being displayed on the television screen. Now, ma'am, how are you going to start your class today?
First of all, thank you for the kind introduction. I'm going to talk about two topics today, as you very correctly said, the argumentative essay and email. But I would like to state right at the start, the beginning, that this class is primarily meant for classes 9 and 10, those studying for the ICSE. So, let's switch over, let's begin without further ado, children. We are going to start with the argumentative essay.
And I can see the subtopics have already been written on the board, ma'am.
That's right, absolutely. Those are the topics we're going to deal with, and we will begin with the first of the two, argumentative essay.
Okay, ma'am. So, let's proceed.
So, let us begin. So, children, an argumentative essay is a lot, if you look at it, like a debate. It involves strategic planning, cleverly thought out strategies, a lot of good thoughts, logical arguments put into a format. If you think of our grand chess master Vishwanathan Anand, you would know that a lot of his chess moves were made with critical thinking and planning done from before. So, how do we write an argumentative essay which brings in these elements of planning and critical thinking? The first thing you need to remember is everything has to be put in within a structure. Now, your composition is constricted, or rather you have the liberty of writing up to 300 to 350 words. 350 words. Now, how do you calculate whether you have written 300 and 350 words? 300 or 350 words? All right, so the way you need to do this is, you can go to any old exercise book of yours, open it, and what you do is count the number of words you have written on every line, or take one line and count the number of words on that line. Then what you do is, you count the number of lines in the page. What happens next? So you've got the number of words on a line, maybe 5 words, and then you have the number of lines on the page, which could be, let's say, 20. So you multiply the two. 5 into 20, 100 words per page. So now you know that in order to write 300 words, you will have to write 3 sides. Or in order to write 350 words, you will have to write approximately 3 sides and a half page. Easy? So if you do that in advance, you know how much space you're going to be covering for the 300 to 350 words. Okay? Easy. Now, the next thing is that you have to get into a logical, well-constructed structure. Imagine a building, a beautiful building. The most beautiful building will fall down, crumble where it stands, unless there is a strong structure, right? A strong framework. So what you need to do is, you need to plan well. You need to plan in advance so that you have a logical sequence of ideas. The next thing is that you have to keep in mind that using correct style and format, all these points will be covered in detail today. You will then arrive at a conclusion. All right? So we are going to go on to the next part of this presentation. Put simply, what have I said so far? First of all, we need to examine the ideas in the topic. The topic is given to you. You will look at it carefully, read it carefully. There are always 2 or 3 words or ideas that pop out at you, that stand out. So we need to examine those ideas very, very carefully. Once we have read the essay carefully and understood those ideas, we have actually understood how to take the argument forward. Because we will then know which stand to take. Are we going to write in favor of the topic? Have we understood it and agree with the topic? Or do we write against it? Once we know what we want to do, we can persuade others, in this case the reader, maybe your teacher, to react to what you are writing, to be persuaded round to your point of view. So now we are looking at the topics themselves that we are going to be working with today. So the first topic that you see in bold on the screen is, the best things in life are free. And look at your hint. The words are given there. Give your views for or against this statement. So I have underlined the or to make it clear that you have to write one thing or the other.
Ma'am, before you elaborate,
yes,
I need to interrupt you because there is a student named Anish and from Bangalore. He is on the phone line and he has some queries to make clear. Yes, Anish, go on.
Good morning, ma'am. I'm Anish.
Good morning, Anish. Do tell me.
My question is that suppose we are writing an essay.
Yes.
And we run out of ideas.
All right. Is that your question?
So how do we proceed from there?
All right. So, Anish, it's very, very important that you plan in advance. Like I spoke about the building where you have a framework. So, part of your planning, and you need to make time, give yourself time to do that. In fact, I would advise you to take 1 or 2 minutes to read the topic and to let those ideas come in. And then maybe you can put down your ideas. I'm going to deal with the number of ideas very soon after, and you'll find that it's not as daunting or difficult as you might think. So actually ideas, it's more important how well you place the ideas. All right? Even with 1 or 2, you can make it a very strong argument and win your case.
That means, madam, whether you construct a building or construct an essay, you must have a crystal clear idea of the topic and planning. A foolproof planning should be there.
Excellent.
Am I not right, ma'am?
Absolutely right, sir. I'm sure you were one of my students earlier. Beautifully put, because I seem to have conveyed it and you have picked it up even before I have, literally. Thank you so much. Hope that answers Anish's question, and we will go on with the presentation.
Okay.
So, as I said, if we look at the topic, the best things in life are free. You have to give your views for or against this statement. You will see on the screen that we have put up another topic. Closed circuit television, CCTV, must be installed in every classroom. Give your views again, either for or against. Now that, children, is a lovely set of questions for you. It's actually 4 topics. If you look at the for and against, it's actually for and against, so 4 topics you can deal with. Today we are primarily going to deal with the best things in life are free, but I'll also talk about the best things in life not being free for the introduction part of it, right? So we're now going to look at how to analyze these topics. Now, as I said earlier, when we have a topic, it's clearly there in your question paper. First you read, and as you read, you let the words or ideas in the topic pop out at you. All right? So here in the topic, the best things in life are free, you actually have 2 sets of ideas. In one basket, you can put the best things in life, and in the other basket, you can put the word free. Already ideas would be coming into your head on reading this topic. What you need to do is establish the relation between the 2, the best things in life and the concept of it being free. How can the best things in life be free? So we're going to look at how that can be done if you have understood what the argument or topic wants to say, we can actually now go into how to analyze and look at the introduction, how to start the topic itself with your understanding clear. The introduction is what we are going to do next. All right? So,
I need to interrupt once more, ma'am, because
Yes,
another
please.
student is there on the phone line. Vaidya Kaira is there from Mumbai. Yes, Vaidya, go on.
Hello, I have a doubt in what do you mean by well-constructed argument?
right.
Okay.
So, that's a very, very valid question, and I will be dealing with it today. Well constructed means well built. So, see, you have 300 to 350 words. You're not writing a novel. So, you don't have the luxury of time. You have to make every single one of those 300 words speak for you. Get you those marks, be effective, right? So the way is that you have to logically construct it with introduction, body, conclusion, like any other composition. So it's like you're looking at a human body, all right? A face of a person coming towards you. If the person comes towards you with a smile, your attention will be arrested. You will look at that person and perhaps be interested or like what you're seeing. Once you like what you're seeing, you are going to want to know more about the person. Why is he or she smiling at you? Is it someone you know, someone you've met earlier? An argumentative essay is a lot like that. We will need a hook, something to garner interest in the reader. So, the way we do the introduction, which is like the face of the person coming towards you, like the head of a tree, let's say, is the introductory bit, and then we get into the body, which would be the trunk of the tree or the body of the person, and then, of course, the feet, the conclusion. Without the feet, of course, you would topple over, right? So that is what a well-constructed essay is all about. Introduction, body, conclusion. So we're going to do the introduction now, right? And for the introduction, what we need is a hook. So what is a hook here? A hook is something designed to capture interest. There are many ways to write interesting introductions. I have given you 3 examples. It could be an anecdote, it could be a startling statistic, or it could be a simple explanation of the problem. That is also equally effective. Don't use flowery language. Don't worry about all that. You just need something which will make the reader feel that, wow, there's something in this essay that I need to read, and there's something about this child which is interesting, the way of thinking. Right. The next thing that needs to be done in the introduction is that you will introduce your essay topic. So you've put in something at the beginning like an anecdote, which is like a short, simple, interesting story, usually based on real life incidents or something which could be realistic. So short, like a very, very short story, or a statistic, and you need to be sure that your statistics are correct. Don't just make up figures out of the blue, avoid otherwise, or the simple explanation. Then what you're doing is you're introducing the essay topic and stating your stance, which means, are you going to write for the topic, in favor, or against? Once you have put these 2 elements into place in the introduction, you will be able to move smoothly into the body or the next part of the argument. So now what we're going to look at is examples.
Okay, ma'am, I have a query.
Yes.
Before students are there to ask their questions, but I also have a query.
Of course,
The question is that students are well aware of debates,
Yes.
thanks to the news channels.
Yes.
Now, debates, you are discussing argumentative essays. So, argumentative essays are similar to debates, or there is a little bit of subtle difference between the two?
Okay, so that's a very good question, sir. Yes, debates and arguments are very, very close to each other. Debates have certain structural features which are a little different in the sense that the topic is called the motion. Then, everybody dealing with the topic or the topic itself is put into this place called the house. So we say the house believes and then you name the motion. So there are a few structural differences. You don't have to use complete sentences. Of course, you have your eyes and your facial expression, and you can, there's a lot of thunder and lightning when debaters are on stage or behind the camera in a television studio. In an argumentative essay, you have to really know your words well. You have to use those words effectively. It's the same concept that you are introducing. You're putting forth arguments like you would in a debate, and you are trying to persuade your reader to come round to your point of view, to try to persuade him that you are right. So yes, in that way, a debate and an argumentative essay are absolutely the same.
Okay.
It's just the written form.
And
Right.
it has also been seen that when there is a debate, specifically on a political issue, there
Right.
are two parties, two opponents, and
That's
they have their own ideas, own thoughts, own sayings. When students will deal with, students are going to deal with argumentative essays, can they argue both sides of the topic?
Absolutely not. This again is an excellent question. I will be dealing with this later on. It's very, very imperative that you stay with one. See, we are reasonable people. We can always understand what the other point of view will be. But in this case, since students, you only have 300 to 350 words to write in, it's not only really, it's adequate, but you should utilize all 350 words to write your point of view. Put forward your arguments strongly. I think that is what is required at this point of view, because at this stage, because everyone knows the other side, right? You have to win them over, bring them over to your way of thinking. So make sure you take one stance, right? One side, and it goes logically. The arguments one after another to the logical conclusion. So you have already stated it in the introduction, and then you go into the body with your arguments and end accordingly.
Okay. Ma'am, another one more student is there on the phone line. Sridham Reddy is there, and he has some queries to make it clear. Yes, Sridham, go ahead.
I have a doubt, ma'am, that the
course.
composition will be divided according, the marks of the composition will be divided according to content, meaning, right? How to show the expression and meaning in it?
All right. So Sriram, you are actually going to build in your expression and style into the content. It's very important that you read a lot. Read meaning whether it's fiction, non-fiction, whatever interests you. The more you read and perhaps practice writing, you will find that content, style, all become part of the flow, part of the same thing. But what I will deal with a little later also will be things to avoid, where you can miss out on marks because of errors. But otherwise, what we require in an argumentative essay is very simple, straightforward language. All right? So that is what we would be needing. So can we go into examples of the introduction, please, next? And we will see how to deal with two introductions. The first one is where we are speaking for the topic, in favor of the motion. So, on a sultry day in May, a little girl sits waiting at the doorstep for her daddy to come home. Her father, weary after a hard day's work, returns in the evening. Seeing her on the doorstep, he ruffles her hair and his face breaks into a smile. The little girl returns the smile. She stands on tiptoe to dab at his face with the handkerchief she clutches in one chubby little hand. I contend that the best things in life are free. Now here you can see that we've got a little anecdote or a little situation at the beginning where you have this little girl waiting for her father to come home. Obviously, I think the thought that would pop into your mind the idea would be that of the love shared between the two, right? Love. And the concept, the best things in life are free. So what you're saying is, I contend, which means that I believe, I state with firm conviction, with firm belief, that the best things in life are free. This will allow you to move smoothly into the body of the letter. I have also done or looked at the other side of the story. This is the second example where we're talking about the huge 1 billion plus population that India has today. So this is one where you deal with statistics. And in this 1 billion plus population count, the overall literacy rate is a meager 70%, of which just 40% of Indian adolescents manage to attend secondary school. Does not this go to show that the best things in life are not free? Is not education one of the things that are intrinsic to having a good life, intrinsic to what a child wants? If the best things in life were free, we would have 100% literacy rate, and the World Bank would not have had to commit over $2 billion to the development of education in India. Right? So here again we've had the example, and we've had the other side, example for the other side, showing that the best things in life are not free. Probably your first point would be that education should be available easily, freely to every child across the nation, across the world in fact. So the next thing we're going to do is, having dealt with the introduction, we're going to go into structuring your argument, which is the body of the essay. And here is where I deal with that point which came up earlier, the query about the points, not having enough of them. In fact, what we see normally, usually, is that you being children and brimming over with excitement and energy and ideas. In fact, in a classroom today, of course, I have many more in my classroom than I normally would have within a small four-walled classroom. But I would have lots and lots of ideas. Now, children, you could write 10, 12, 15, 20 ideas. But the point is not making a shopping list, not writing out so many ideas. The idea is that you need to pick up 4 or 5 points that you feel you can write about. Just 4 or 5 points. And then you develop each of these points. Right? So what you need to do is bring each of these points into a separate paragraph. In that paragraph, state the point first and then bring in an example to illustrate, which means you can write from your personal experience, you can bring in ideas, anecdotes, something you've read in the newspaper, something that will contribute to explaining this point and making it stronger. Now, something else that you can do, which I find that many clever writers can do, is introduce humor. Now, even with that first example we have of the introduction, where you had that little child reaching up a chubby little hand to wipe the father's face, right? Now here, the humor bit could come in if you say, of course, we could think of the other chubby little hand creeping into the father's pocket to look for the chocolate which she knows that he must have brought back for her, right? Showing that she actually was looking for the chocolate. But then one can't take away from the love, can one, of that little scene between the two. And the humor part of it, just be a little careful, because this is serious content. When you write an argumentative essay, it is a serious subject matter. So you have to deal with it in a manner such that humor introduced does not take away from the seriousness of the subject. In fact, it should not in any way lessen the gravity or the seriousness of your arguments. There should be no jarring note, something which is out of tune. So only introduce humor if you're very, very sure that you can. But if you can, it's fun. Because the teacher reading it, you will then have established a connect with her, a relationship. The teacher will have a nice little laugh, a good little laugh, and think that, okay, so this reader is so at ease, this writer is so at ease that he or she can actually share a joke with me, right? So we'll love that. We love to see children having fun with their written work. And that is what creative writing or essays is all about, having fun, right? Also, you can add statistics, facts or data, of course, but as I said earlier, only if you are very sure of the claims, which is why in the earlier introduction, I had said around 1 billion or 1 billion plus population,
Okay.
around 70% or around 40%.
Okay,
So-
ma'am, we need
Yes.
to take a quick short break. If you please quickly wrap up, ma'am.
All right, absolutely. So what we can do quickly is we can just go on to the next slide, which is ideas you can use for your arguments. I'll just read out the ideas and maybe after the break we'll elaborate a little on this.
Sure, ma'am.
Right. So the ideas you can use for your arguments are love, loyalty and trust, happiness, imagination and the power of creation, and smiles, which are just like that song which says, they're just like a magic penny. Lend it, spend it, you'll have so many. We're talking about smiles. Okay, there'll be so many, they'll roll all over the world. A magic penny which doesn't cost anything, a smile. So isn't that one of the best things in life? A smile that you can give away and you'll get many more back in return.
Okay. So it's time for a quick short break, and within no time we are coming back. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Ma'am, you were on the discussing about the ideas of writing an argumentative essay.
Yes, that's right, sir. So this is what I would like to elaborate on next.
Okay, ma'am, please.
Right. So basically, children, we were talking about the ideas that you could use in the content or the body part of the essay. So the ideas were what we had talked about earlier. I just named them at that point. Of course, the first one that pops to mind is love. Nothing could be bigger or more obvious in or among the best things in life basket. So love, of course, you're talking about love for your family or of your family, friends, community. Love is a word that you can use lots of examples with to illustrate. Loyalty and trust. Now your loyalty could be towards people, friends, your family again. It could be towards an institution, like your loyalty towards your school, your trust and faith in your school that they will help you through your school years. It could be towards an idea. I need to be honest in whatever I do, right? So you stick by that idea. It could be love and trust and loyalty towards your country. Happiness. Here's something where you can let yourself, your ideas just go out and have a real fun time out there because you're going to be imagining things, creating things. Here, you can use another ploy, another strategy of argumentative writing. You can use contrast and comparison. So what you can do here is, you can compare the simple pleasures of life with those that money can buy. Now, if you think of going to a swanky neighborhood mall and looking for maybe a mobile or something expensive to pick up, I would say that probably gives momentary satisfaction for some time. But if you look at the deeper things, where you are actually going out, maybe you're going to the park often, you're going for a walk in the park, or if you're lucky you live in the countryside, maybe out into the countryside, to a forest, you're going for a walk. You're retreating into a corner, a private little corner of your own, with a favorite book or an author, just reading. You're playing. You could be baking a cake. The happiness these simple pleasures bring, I think we're discovering a lot of them now in these days, unparalleled, one would say. Then imagination and the power of creation. Now here, you can talk about simple things. You could also talk about people like scientists, like Albert Einstein, being able to imagine another dimension. You could talk about Amerigo Vespucci, who you know imagined that there was another continent, and he landed up on the shores of South America, and he actually had that continent named after him. Can you imagine the excitement of that moment when he set foot on that land which was earlier thought to be part of the Asian landmass? Imagine. So you need to imagine, and you must have the power to create anything that you like. All that is free. It's there for you inside your heads. Your hands are with you.